Do you feel you're spending too much time on your smartphone and social media? You're scrolling, you're browsing, you're checking notifications, and before you know it, you wonder where the time went and you haven't gotten anything done, and you would like to learn how to manage social media in a healthier way? Well, in this video, I'm going to give you some solutions and 11 different ways how to manage social media in a healthier and more balanced way. Now, in the previous video, I talked about social media addiction and its negative effects. A lot of people are spending a lot of time on their smartphone, social media, scrolling, not being productive and not getting anything done. And it has a lot of negative effects on someone's life. So in this video, I want to give you some tools, some strategies, some methods that you could use to handle social media in a healthier and more balanced way. First of all, we want to be realistic about social media and the future of social media. There are more and more apps and websites rising, so it's going to be increasingly complicated in the future to say no and handle those distractions and notifications. So we can't just shut it out completely. Part of our life, part of our profile is online, and oftentimes we also need social media for our work. So we want to find a way to manage it in a healthy way while not going offline completely. Although sometimes having a digital detox or having a social media detox can be really beneficial to see what real life is like. Because social media is useful to stay connected with people, but it shouldn't be a replacement for real relationships, real friendships, and real life connections. Also, for employers, it's also difficult to shut out social media completely. Since so many ways how people connect with other people is on social media, it's really difficult if you're an employer to say to your employees, you can't use social media because it's just in their pocket, it is on their smartphone. Often they have to use social media in their job, so to use all that willpower to say no is really difficult and it will have a task on productivity. But in our life, in our work, in our company, we want to learn how to integrate social media and smartphone use in a much healthier and more balanced way. So I want to give you 11 ways how to handle social media addiction. Number 1, discipline yourself. In a previous video, I talked about how much time we spend on social media, how much time we spend on our smartphones, and how many times we check our smartphones. So we really want to discipline ourselves and have self-control to use social media in a much more healthy way. We want to become more aware how much time we spend on social media and how many times we're checking our phones. Is this time on social media really serving us? Do we really have to check our updates of our social media profile so much? Probably in almost all cases, the answer is no. We can choose certain limited times when we're going to choose it and choose other times when we're not checking it and we're delivering some productive work. Because in almost all cases, most of our most productive work is not being done on social media. So we want to discipline ourselves and become more aware of our focus, of what we pay attention to, and the choices and decisions we make. All that time that we're spending on social media and our smartphones, is this really the best use of our time, and could we use it in a much better and more productive fashion? Number 2, remove shortcuts to social media on your computer and on your smartphone. You want to make the accessibility of those apps as difficult as possible. The easier it is to just access them and it's just a click away, the more you will do it. Trust me, I've been there. Before I knew it, I was clicking to check a certain site, check Facebook, check Instagram. This month, with my Habit Bootcamps community, we're having a no social media challenge. And the challenge is not to check social media the first 2 hours of the day and the last hour of the day. But a couple of times I was just clicking on the Facebook icon and before I knew it, I was on Facebook. I didn't even realize I was doing it. So to make the access as difficult as possible is also a great tool, so it's not just one click away. You have to do some effort. Any bad behavior or bad habit that takes more effort to do, you will be less likely to do. So remove all shortcuts if possible on your smartphone and your computer. Number 3, shut off notifications and put your phone away. Make sure that you don't get notified when you get a message, because if that screen lights up or you get that ping, that you get a new notification, you're triggered to check it out because you have that fear of missing out and you immediately want to see what it's all about, if you got a message, if you got a like, if you got some engagement. So you don't want to be distracted. You want to use your focus, attention, and energy wisely. So shut off all the notifications for certain messages on your smartphone and your computer. That way you can check social media when you want to. Because if you're notified of a message, it will be really hard to say no, because in the back of your mind you will be so intrigued and so interested what that message or notification is all about, and it will tax a lot of willpower. So just shut off all notifications on your smartphone and computer, so you only check social media when you need to and when you want to. Put your phone away, shut off your phone, or put it on airplane mode. If you find it really difficult to not check your smartphone, it's best to just put it away, put it in another room, put it aside, turn it off. Again, if you want to check your phone, you have to put on your phone again, which will demand some effort, so it will make it less likely that you will do it. So if you know that you're tempted when your smartphone is so close to you, just put your phone away, just turn it off, or put it on airplane mode. That way, you also increase the chances of working deeply, not being distracted. Also, you will be focusing on one screen, whether you're watching TV or working on your computer, and you will not be checking your second screen all the time. Number 4, stop checking your social media and notification first thing in the morning. You really want to use the morning to charge yourself for the day. You want that part of the day to be creative and not reactive. You don't want to respond and start anxious and responding to other people's agenda. You want to set your own agenda. So if the first hours of the day you're not checking social media, you're not checking notifications, you really focus on the most important tasks. You really charge yourself for the day instead of immediately just responding and checking out things. You will get a lot more done in less time. Those first 2 hours of the day is really to get into the mood of the day and make important decisions. Use your willpower, focus, and energy wisely. But if you immediately check out your phone social media, it will tax willpower, focus, and attention that you could be using for more important tasks. So especially in the first 2 hours of the day, don't check social media. You won't be missing out so much, but you will be missing out on doing some productive work and working on the most important tasks that demand a lot of discipline and willpower. Also, these most important tasks are often the tasks that you don't look forward to. You're not really motivated, but you do them whether you feel like it or not. And when you finish them, you can use social media as a reward. So it will make sure that you finish the tasks and then you can reward yourself with checking social media. You have a bigger chance of being fulfilled at the end of the day and do more in less time because you first focus on what really matters to be productive. Number 5, use tools and apps. To make it easy for you, I have created a free Distraction Destroyer guide that you can download down below. It has my best tools that you could use on your smartphone and your computer to do more in less time. It has some great tools that you can block certain websites and social media during a certain amount of time so you can really work deeply. It also has some apps that measure how much time you spend on certain websites and social media. It has some apps that prevent you from checking your smartphone, and also some add-ons to block the Facebook newsfeed and to block the suggestions of YouTube, and also some apps that help you meditate, strengthen your willpower muscle, and help you restore your attention. So be sure to download the distraction guide for free down below. It has all the suggestions for apps you could use. It also mentions what it offers, if it's free, or how much you have to pay for the paid version. Number 6, take a different kind of break. Since social media demands a lot of willpower and attention, when we're taking a break, we really want to find ways to really restore our willpower and attention. So instead of just sitting in front of our screen again, scrolling to social media, it's often better to take a different break. Meditate, do some exercise, go outside, go for a walk, take a nap, anything that makes you unwind and makes you feel less anxious and excited. Because all that social media, it taxes willpower. It might seem like entertainment, but it's actually a kind of semi-work. It doesn't really make you relax. So just spend some time with friends, read a book, find other ways to really take a nourishing, refreshing break than just being on social media, because it just exhausts us and it even gives us stress by the fear of missing out, even when we are not on social media, when we're constantly on social media. So we want to find a way to shut off our brain, shut off our focus, and restore some attention, energy, and willpower again. Number 7, say goodnight to your devices. In a previous video, I talked about the negative effects of social media addiction on sleep. A lot of people are checking social media right before they go to sleep, and it makes it really difficult to fall asleep, or they wake up in the middle of the night checking their phones. You don't want to say it's bedtime, you want to say it is time to unplug. So at least half an hour, preferably an hour before you go to sleep, shut off your electronic devices, shut off your social media, and don't check it anymore. You really want to prepare your mind and body to go to sleep. Also, that blue light that is being emitted by your computer and by your smartphone is triggering your brain to think that it's still day and it still makes you feel awake. So before you go to sleep, you don't want to be in that hectic FOMO, fear of missing out, anxious state that makes it really difficult to go to sleep, and that will have a huge tax on your sleep. Number 8, attention restoration therapy. Besides not checking social media in our breaks, it is also useful to be smartphone free or social media free once in a while during the day or during our lives. Go on a hike, be present, do something where you're not checking social media or your smartphone for a longer period of time. It will help you restore your attention back to normal. Any decision, any distraction we have will always tax attention and willpower. So it's not an infinite resource, it's a limited resource. So we want to be able to restore it. Get your attention span back to normal. So purposely choose certain periods a day where you don't check social media and make time to live social media free and smartphone free. In the beginning, you will be surprised how anxious you are, and you will be doing something without a smartphone or without a computer, and part of your brain will be wondering like, did I miss something? Did I miss something? But if you really take a step back and you think, is it really so important to be anxious about? You really see that you're more addicted to all those superficial pings and notifications, and you're missing out on a huge part of life that is actually being lived in real life, real reality, and in the present moment. So you want to set aside some time to do some attention restoration therapy. You also want to cultivate pauses in your life to reflect. Boredom often is useful because creative thoughts often arise when we're silent, when we're taking a pause, and then all those underlying thoughts that have been lingering for a long time, they arise. But if we try to fill up any silence, any boredom with immediately checking out our phones, we will never truly be creative or be contemplative or be reflective about some important aspects in our lives that are beneath the surface. So besides restoring our attention, it's also important to cultivate some room and some space to just be with ourselves, take a pause, reflect, without immediately checking social media as soon as we're a bit bored or anxious. Number 9, focus on one thing at a time. It is best to do tasks single-handedly. So when you're writing, just write. When you're editing something, just edit. Don't be at several places at the same time. Multitasking doesn't work. So if you keep tabs open, social media open, you get these notifications, you're not really working productively and you're not getting anything done. So make sure you protect your focus. Maybe turn off the Wi-Fi, put your smartphone away, make the access to social media as difficult as possible. Do the most important tasks and do them one by one. Be sure you only work on one task at a time and are not all over the place. If you have to be on social media, then only focus on social media. But oftentimes it's not the most important thing. So checking social media or doing several things at the same time, it's best to do it later in the day when you already used your willpower, attention, energy, and focus on the things that truly matter. Number 10, no second screens. Only focus on one screen at a time. When you're working on something on your computer, only focus on the computer and the task you're doing. When you're watching a movie, only focus on watching the movie. We often have this tendency, as soon as we're a bit frustrated, anxious, or bored, we immediately take out our smartphone and want to check and be entertained. But it makes us miss out on the present moment, really being involved in a task, committed to a task, or really enjoying a movie. Because a part of our brain is still being stuck on all those messages, likes, and engagement we could have. But we're missing out on actually enjoying the present moment and the thing we're doing right now. Which leads me to the last thing, number 11, be fully present when you meet someone. We have all these connections, superficial connections online, but one of the most important connections are the real connections, the real friendships you have in real life. So when you're really talking with somebody, be fully present. Focus on the relationships and communication with the person. Because what often happens, we're talking with the person, but a part of our communication is still stuck on the online communication. So part of our brain is rather want to check out these online communications than the real communication that has happened with this person in front of you in real life. That's a bit of a pity because social media should also be a way to connect with people in real life, but it shouldn't be a replacement for communications with real people in real life. So when you're really not communicating, not being present, and a part of our attention is stuck on this smartphone or on this device, really focus on the person in front of you. Because we also feel validated the most when someone is fully present and really listening to us. So if we don't do the same thing, a lot of people will also not be listening to us and not really be fully present. Something that some people do, especially when they meet people, is to just put the smartphone on the table with the screen down, and if somebody of the group is checking the smartphone, they have to pay a round of drinks for the other people. Maybe that could also be something useful, to not check your smartphone and just be fully present. So these were 11 ways how we can balance our social media use. Let me know what lessons you've learned from this video. If there are some other ways how you think you can balance social media, what people could try out. If there are some apps or tools that I haven't mentioned that people could install on their smartphone or their computer, let me know by dropping a comment below. I hope you find a healthier way to manage social media. I realize it's a bit ironic that you're checking this on social media, but it's just a message to not quit social media, but learn to manage it in a much more healthy and balanced way. So I hope this video helps to let you manage and control social media a bit better instead of letting social media control you. And I will talk to you in the next video. Hey, it's Phil from Houte Bootcamps, and if you like my channel, don't forget to subscribe and check out some more videos about how to install good habits, quit bad habits, and get rid of addictions.